as as you look sort of across the spectrum there, it seems to me that we have a lot of civilian agencies that are focusing, as you said, one pillar at a time. Oftentimes it's the identity pillar. Can you give us kind of a top line as to what you're observing? Maybe highlight an example of some goodness out there.
Yeah, sure. So I think one thing that's critical, and you've heard both Chris and Wes talk about it, and Lou's example of this, is the ability to have that zero trust lead office for the enterprise. We talked about this a little bit before, but especially when the executive order came out and then the zero trust memo came out, one thing that was different about this than other memos or other initiatives coming out was it really had the attention of top leadership at the agencies. Some of this you can point back to SolarWinds, and then even what's happening in Colonial Pipeline, and just the risks that are involved, and the attention it got across the government and the public. So there was really an interest top down from like the assistant secretaries asking the organizations, asking inside their agencies, what is zero trust? How are we helping support this? How are we building out that architecture across the government? To be fair to like a lot of the CISOs and CIOs with zero trust, this is really, to me, it's always been some of these first principles of cybersecurity, right? Just segmentation, identity management. But with technology now, we're in a different place than we were 10 years ago, how we can apply it. So I think bottom up, there's always been a need or desire, like this is the way we need to go. But what's just been different again is that top-down vision to support this. So I think the most critical thing, going back to where I started this with, is having that organizational vision across the agency, building that strategy. One thing I love about DoD's, I think it's their strategy or maybe the reference architecture, is the very first thing it says most important is the education and the training that's going on within the workforce itself. We talked to Randy Resnick, the DoD Zero Trust Portfolio Management Director, all the time. And it's really just a game changer how it's been supported from that top level at CIO and DoD. And so I think you're hitting into this a little bit before with the way that zero trust like SME or POC that we work with is bounced around some agencies. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it started with the CIO, and then you may see it bounce to the CISO. One organization we're familiar with, it went to the CTO for a little bit. Now it's back, I think, in the CISO office. So it can bounce around just because the organization needs to figure out who needs to lead this vision. But that's really the key for this whole thing to work.
Yeah, I think that getting that sort of solidified, and it's starting to on the civilian side, I think is really important. And look, holding those secretaries accountable, I think, is another really important key to the structure of the memo and the direction. So hats off.